What is up, everyone? Welcome to the deadline live stream for the Hungarian Grand Prix on F1 Fantasy Pole Position. It's time. We're getting down to it. 1 hour to go until qualifying lock. What is up to everyone watching? Let me know where you're watching from. I can confirm that it is hot as heck in Europe right now. I'm just sitting here on my butt talking about F1 fantasy, and I am sweating in this room here. Sorry if the audio is a little bit weird. It had some room changes recently, so we will see how it goes. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, all that fun stuff. But yes, this is my squad heading into Hungary right now. Yes, the Teme. It's freaking hot here too. Yes, I know. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in Belgium next week. I haven't looked at the weather ahead of that yet, but interesting to see. Like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. 500 subs just passed this week during the content, so that was incredible. Thank you everyone for all the support. Really appreciate it there. And yeah, here we are. Lando, Pierre, Lance, Joe Guan Yu, Nico Hulkenberg, Mercedes, and McLaren. That is my squad as of right now. There is supposed to be some new sims coming out of F1 Fantasy Tools. I will be by my phone. If you are in the chat and you are also in tune with F1 Fantasy Tools, let me know if those sims get released, because that would be very handy dandy. But yeah, lots to kind of go over here today. So as of right now, I've got a couple of options. If you follow me on X or Twitter at F1U and FPL, you will know where my options are here. So I can get to a George and a Logan build, but that gives me two of these guys at the back of the pack. Not a huge fan of that, to be honest, as I was talking about in my episode of green flag, yellow flag, red flag earlier this week. If you watched that, you'll know that I was red flagging Charles Leclerc, and I was a little bit nervous after FP1 yesterday when Ferrari looked top of the charts, but luckily there was a little bit of a snafu in FP2 for the Monaco winner, so that did not go according to plan at all. But let me know in the comments below what your conundrums are. We are all here to help each other out for the next hour. So yeah, I am. This is option one here. Option two, and this is where I can get myself into a little bit of trouble because I'm not so good at remembering where my squad was at, obviously. But I had Pierre taking Lance Stroll out here, covering off Red Bull. Is that the right option? Do you think Red Bull is back? I believe I posted a poll there. Right now, 55% say no, Red Bull is not back. So, okay. Yeah, we'll see. It looks really good. I saw like a wild rumor on Twitter like 30 minutes ago saying that they had to take stuff off their car. I don't know if that's Papaya fans just hoping that Red Bull is not back so they can close the gap in the constructor standings, but definitely, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's happened a lot, Michael. I could easily see Checo in Q2. Yes. Lots of debates going around. Is Checo trustworthy here? So if I kept Pierre in, I could bring in Red Bull, and that would leave me 10.7 here. Go over to the drivers, and I can really just pick and choose whoever I want from the C tier class. Yuki, Esteban, I don't think. Yes. Can't get to Daniel Ricciardo. RB, Visa Cash App RB, has looked pretty strong over the free practices this weekend. They're kind of up there and stuff. But DNF roulette with the guys down there in that pack. You just got to get lucky. Yuki has okay form, 4, 10, 7 points over here in F1 Fantasy. It seems to be driving for a Red Bull spot. He was quoted as saying that it would be weird if Liam Lawson got in the team over him. So let me know. Let's make a poll. Who should get the RB seat? Oh, I got to close this poll first. And that poll. 57% of y'all said that you do not think the Red Bull is back. Who should get the RB seat? Yuki or Liam? Start poll. Vote away. Have fun with that. Yes. So let's see. What do we got here? Daniel Placencia. Right now, going with double B driver lineup with Norris 2 times and Russell and Ferrari and Merck as the constructors, along with Gasly, Hulk, and Sarge. That's a nice lineup. I like that. I don't think I can get to that lineup without a 10-point hit, but Ferrari is tough right there. They looked good yesterday. Not so good today. You know what? I should probably get up the F1 practice debrief, and then we can look at all this data together. How about that? Let me get the FP3 results up here as well. Where are we? Let's go. All righty. All right, so here are the FP3 results if you guys missed it earlier. So Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Russell, Sainz, Ricardo, Albon, Hulkenberg, Sonoda, Hamilton in the top 10. Although apparently Hamilton had a spinoff in FP3. I wasn't able to watch it. I am building a behemoth of an IKEA project today. So I am happy to take a break from that and just talk some F1 fantasy for the final hour of the day. But here are the FP3 results right here, the top 10. It does sound like it was a lot cooler. It's going to be a lot cooler today than it will be tomorrow. So McLaren was kind of flying a little bit, which could mean that they fall back a little bit. Oscar Piastri's tire management is a little bit worrying. But yeah, that's kind of something to consider. 133 people are watching this right now. So definitely click that like button. Just let other people know that we are live. We are talking F1 fantasy for the next 54 minutes until the deadline. Would greatly appreciate it. And if you're new, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I put out podcasts. I put out YouTube content. There's going to be 4 episodes next week. No deadline live stream because I am actually going to Paris for the Olympics as a freelancer. So I will be there, but I will be on the X machine tweeting away for F1 Fantasy when that lineup lock comes along. So let me know where I should go in Paris. I'm mostly going to be at the 3x3 skateboarding kind of arena. But so if you're going to be in Paris, come say hi. That would be great. So Isidro here says you can buy Sargent to increase cost cap for next race and get a B tier pilot like Russell. That would be true if Logan Sargent went up in budget. As we talked about in the race preview earlier this week, Logan Sargent has fallen 1.2 million since China. He has not had a price rise since China. The poor guy is on his way out of F1, and he's sticking around in some of our F1 fantasy teams, but for how much longer, I do not know, because the summer break is coming up, and we will have to see how that goes. The Tamesh says Ferrari versus Merck and Russell versus Sainz Leclerc keeps being a weekly conundrum. I agree with that, Tameh, that we do have some tough decisions to make here with Mercedes, especially in the heat. It's going to be so hot, and that has traditionally been Mercedes' weakness. However, they got that new little bump in their front wing, and it seems to have fixed a lot of their thing. 2 wins on the bounce, although they inherited one of those in Austria, but Silverstone was pretty impressive. Sahil asks me, what were my points for Silverstone? You know what? That's a great question. Let me find that out for you there, because it was probably not great. That team there had 153 points in Silverstone, Sahil. So not that great. Like, what was my team again? Yeah, Lando 52, Gasly. Obviously, I had Gasly. Didn't even start the race. I was going for he's going to start at the back of the pack with his 50 place grid penalty, and it did not go well. Michael says that the Sims are out. So let's go check those out, folks. Where are we here? Team calculator, refresh. Boom. We have new Sims. Lando and Piastri. Piastri jumped over Max Verstappen here in points. So I had it on my phone, took a screenshot of this. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. Shared your link for the stream on Twitter/X. Yeah, I think I'm trying to stream on Twitter. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a new option here on StreamYard. So let me know if you're watching on Twitter. Send me a comment on there as well. We will see how it goes. So let's check it out here. F1fantasytools.com. I'm a Patreon there. You should be too, if you want to just kind of like get your team sorted. So right now, you guys all saw my team. Sahil also had Gasly too. So you were right there in that bucket with me when you saw like gearbox issue right on the first lap. I was like, ah, really? This is happening again? Okay. Anyways, so T1 team, let's see what F1 fantasy tools writer thinks I should do. McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, Russell, Hulkenberg, Sargent, and Joe. No, no. Oh, this is so painful. So, because my whole thing has been I really don't want to take two of those back of the pack options with Sargent, Joe, and Bottas, and it is so painful. There's another option here where I can get out of that game altogether, 195.8 million. And oh man, let me know, guys. Let me know what you think here. What are your predicaments coming out after the uh, new sims from F1 Fantasy Tools here? Norris, Russell, Hulkenberg, Sargent, and Joe Guan Yu. Oh gosh, I really, really, really did not want that to happen. But let's go. Let me get back over here. Let me. Oh my goodness. My team. Let's see. What do we got here? Brian wrote us, should we need to get away from the Alpine drivers, take RB instead? So great question, Brian. And over here on F1.com, their practice debrief. So we got the race simulation pace here. And Alpine looking pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth fastest in race simulation pace. So not bad. Yeah, I agree, Isidro. Not good points wise. Yeah, just gotta hope that he doesn't DNF. That would be the only like saving grace there. So Alpine fifth in race simulation, but back of the pack in qualifying. It is tough to overtake here at Hungary. Traditionally, it's been known as Monaco without walls. However, they've been okay in recent years. Adam from F1 Fantasy HQ has a great graphic over there that explains or kind of shows the overtakes from 23 to 24. But yeah, Hungaroring, not great. Slow speed corners, not a lot of high speed. So Alpine may struggle here, even though they're supposed to qualify back to the pack. I think Gasly said in FP3 that he had a brake issue. I think I read that on the race.com's kind of practice debrief themselves. So that is something that we don't really want to go near as well, especially since he started the last race with a gearbox issue and didn't even make the track. Let's see. What do we got here? So Isidro said Joe Guan Yu is not a good option points wise. Totally agree with that, Isidro. Sahil wanted to go with George Lando comp, but missing on budget by 0.1 mil. Yes, been there, done that. On the preview episode that I put out on Monday, I think I was just kind of going through my team selection, like willy-nilly on the fly kind of deal. And I think there was like live reaction of me realizing I was 0.1 short of Lewis Hamilton or something like that. That was painful. So I feel your pain there, Sahil. AB Mose says, mine is McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Russell, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Sargent, 116.4. That's pretty handy dandy there. I don't mind that at all. So you would kind of upgrade from my Bottas, but you wouldn't be able to get up to the Lando of me. Is that right? Yeah, Norris. So we'd be in the similar boat there, AB Mose. So not too bad. I mean, if Piastri grabs the win, he will get driver of the day. And on the green flag, yellow flag, red flag episode that I had earlier this week, which you guys can still watch during the stream. It's only like 17 minutes. So you can go watch that, come back for the last 30 minutes of the deadline live stream if you want to go like and watch that video real quick. I did have Piastri as a green flag, pretty bullish on his prospects here. I'm not sure if my thinking is correct on this, but because it's so hot, it could enable like a 3-stop race. And that means that in my head, Piastri doesn't have to manage his tires as much. I am relatively a new F1 fan over like the last 5 years. I'm a self-confessed drive to survive convert kind of thing. But would that not enable him to not have to manage his tires as much because there's 3 stops? That would be my thinking. But let me know in the comments if I am wrong. I'm happy to learn something new about F1 from hardcore F1 fans today. That would be great. Isidro comes in. Ricardo is a good option if you have the cap. They had upgrades on the car. Okay. I didn't know that Red Bull or Visa Cash App RB had some upgrades this weekend. I think everyone was making noise about what was it? Sauber had like 9 upgrades on the car. The Aston Martin updates are going terribly. I would stay away from Aston Martin. Fernando just telling Lance like good luck or whatever. So not a great job there by Red Bull. But let's go back over here to the F1 fantasy tools. I'm going to try and pull this picture up here. Unfortunately, I only have a screenshot of it on my phone just to kind of look at the differences that we had going on here. So Norris was at 29.1. He is, I should probably just go to the actual simulations here. 29.6. Verstappen fell 3 points here from 26.3 to 23.9. Trying to just look for some big jumps here. I mean, Piastri had a huge jump, 20.6 to 25.6 in the simulations from after FP2 here. Russell went up 4 points. Hamilton went down 3 points. Ferrari, Sainz went up 6 or went down 6 points. Sorry. And Leclerc went down a point as well. So Ryder does not believe in Ferrari anymore. And then once we kind of got out there, it's just DNF roulette with the back of the field. Perez is now 15.8. He was 17.1 after FP2 yesterday. Harry Sunderland chimes in. Thanks for watching, Harry. Would you prefer Norris plus Piastri with bottom 3 or Piastri, Russell, Sonoda, Hulkenberg, Sargent? Seems like with low overtakes, it might be better to go with a balanced team. Yeah, I think I agree with that, Harry. There's a ceiling there with Norris, Piastri, and the bottom 3. Obviously, you might have the 1-2 if McLaren stops fumbling the bag with their strategy and just tire calls and stuff like that. But I think you're going to get enough of the pie there with Piastri, Russell. Sonoda's looked good at points this weekend. Hulkenberg is just having, I think I saw on F1 TV, back-to-back top 6 finishes for the first time since 2018. So he is in the best form over the last half a decade that he's been in F1. And Sargent, like, just cross your fingers, close your eyes, and hope that the American can just get cleanly through these last 2 races before he is potentially replaced during the summer break, to be determined where we are. So I think I like that balanced team option as well. Isidro chimes in again. Thank you for commenting here, Isidro. Yeah, McLaren mostly will win this. Norris did almost perfect lap, both cars killing it. So Norris would be the obvious 2x. And if you can afford Piastri with McLaren and Mercedes, go for it, guys. Yep. Hulkenberg is a must. Okay. Yeah, there we go, Isidro. Glad we agree on that. We are 17 minutes into the deadline live stream. Make sure you like the stream. That would help me out a bunch. And yeah, let me know your lineup conundrums. What you've noticed? Have you been watching any of the free practices? Are you worried about the potentially hot weather in Budapest? Let's go. Shall we do a little bit of a weather check? Let me go over here. AccuWeather. Because right now, I think I saw that it's supposed to be cooler in qualifying right now than it will be at the race tomorrow. So here we go. So right now it says it's 27 degrees Celsius, feel 26. Short showers, cooler, short showers in the evening. It says 80% chance of rain, but I don't think that's going to affect us in qualifying. I will get to your question there in a second, Daniel. Appreciate you reaching out. Yeah, so 4 o'clock, 42% chance of precipitation, 28 degrees Celsius. So, I mean, hopefully we avoid the rain. That would be quite a kerfuffle in qualifying if that happened. And let's go to the daily radar here. So Saturday, showers. Tomorrow's going to be 32 degrees. It's going to be a lot hotter tomorrow than it is right now. I mean, we still got 45 minutes to go, so the track will cool down quite a bit. I think the F1 TV commentators were even talking about it during FP2 yesterday, that it already felt cooler. As soon as shade kind of hit the track, it got a lot cooler around there, which should help McLaren in qualifying. They seem to be really good when it's a little bit cooler as well. Same with Mercedes, but it could be a lot hotter tomorrow during the race. So we will have to see how that goes. All right, Daniel, let's get back to this here. Running limitless on my second highest scoring team, which is very close to catching my number 1 team. Would you trust Red Bull and McLaren, or better to go with McLaren and Mercedes as constructors? Ooh, that is a very tough question. I think when you're playing the limitless chip, Daniel, that I would shoot for the upside of getting the highest kind of constructors and the best bets in your team. And as we go over here to F1 Fantasy Tools, as you can see, McLaren 62.6, Red Bull 54.3, 52.5 here as well for Mercedes. So you definitely want McLaren in there. Red Bull, Max could easily win tomorrow's race. So I think you're going to want to get Red Bull in your lineup. So I think McLaren and Red Bull, that's where I would go. I think I'm not sure if I could play the limitless chip without having McLaren and Red Bull in my squad right now. Just so you know, whatever team you had before this week will be the team that you have in Spa. So you won't have any transfers that carry over or anything like that. Just to make sure, I'm not sure if you've activated the chip already, but just so you know that that will happen in Spa. So I was on Twitter earlier. I was asking for thoughts, concerns, questions, all that stuff before I got hopped on the live stream here. And Michael, who is an avid supporter of the channel and always kind of chit-chatting with me on Twitter about F1 Fantasy, sometimes FPL, sometimes the Yankees. So we'll see you in the ALCS, Mike. Oh, sorry. One more question here from Sahil. Do you think Yuki would be better than Stroll in your lineup? Yes, I like Yuki a lot better than Stroll this weekend. Just seems like the RB is trending upwards, and Aston Martin is just sinking like a stone once again. Isidro also says, I wouldn't go for Limitless. Leave it for a sprint weekend. That is sound thinking, Isidro, but actually Rain Fantasy, who is another great F1 Fantasy content creator, did a whole video on when to play your limitless chip. And sometimes it's just about how much you can gain on the field. I'm not saying that the Hungaroring is actually the best place to play that. It might be next week in Spa when there's not a sprint race, although there will be a sprint race for Spa in 2025. I think they just unleashed that calendar. Anyway, back to what I was getting onto over here. So next week in Spa in Belgium, it sounds like Max Verstappen is going to take an engine penalty, which could be a 10 place, a 15 place, a 20 grid place penalty. And Spa is a fantastic place to overtake. And I think that happened in 2022. So let's go. So let's just go look at what we could potentially be in for next weekend if Max Verstappen takes an engine penalty, starts from the back of the pack, but has a brand new engine in what seems like a pretty rapid Red Bull here. I think I actually had a tweet about this earlier this season when it was first kind of suggested that he would. Yes, here we go. So share this tab instead. This is the 2022 season, y'all. Verstappen, 75 points. Qualified 10th or qualified on pole, then took the engine penalty. So in F1 Fantasy, you take that engine penalty, but you still get your qualifying points. So wherever you qualify, you still get those points. And yeah, you just drop down the grid for Sunday. So then we look here, position 1. He won the race. Positions gained 13, fastest lap 10. Actually won driver of the day. Max Verstappen winning driver of the day. That does not happen very often. And overtakes 7. Yeah, just a phenomenal day for Max there in the Red Bull. And 75 points times 2, you're looking at a 150 point day. So we definitely want to keep that in mind for Spa. So I've had a lot of people kind of asking me, should I roll? What should I do? I don't really know if there's anything to kind of make a change for. And if you don't have something to make if you don't have to make a huge change this weekend in Hungaroring and you can roll that transfer, take that transfer, roll it in to next weekend. That way you will have 3 transfers to get Max Verstappen in your lineup. It's something that I will be covering quite extensively on all the content that's coming out next week, 4 episodes again. So definitely make sure to tune in for all of that. And I'm trying to think about how I'm going to get there as well. So I did this earlier and I wish I had thought of it already, but so if I take out Lance and McLaren, although, Ferrari's going to struggle next week. And it's going to be a high-speed circuit. So if Ferrari hasn't changed that, it will be a little tough there. So let's just put McLaren in there. So let's figure out how I can get to Max. So if I keep these 4 assets, I do have a wild card in my back pocket Let me know in the comments below if you have a wild card. If you're thinking, do you think Max is as big of a priority for Spa? You know what? We can put another poll here together. Um, is Max a must for Belgium? Yes or no? Let me know. Get on voting on that there. Yes. So Max here, 31%, 31 of my budget. And then I mean I'd keep Nico. I'd probably have to it's not gonna be pretty, guys. I could maybe get K Mag, and that should give me Yuki. So I could go with that in Spa. Nothing bad there. That would be 3 transfers, 10-point hit. You could also cover off Max with Red Bull if you want to do that as well. So there's also that kind of variation. But I think before there's still 35 minutes until lineup lock, just take a couple of minutes here, look at your lineup, look at the transfers you're making this week, and how easy is it going to be for you to get to Max next week. If you have a wild card like me, it's not as big of a priority, but if you've already burned your wild card or you really don't, you're waiting to use the wild card later in the season, maybe like possibly with Ferrari updates, if they have a successful back end of the season, I think you should really just consider, how are we going to get Max into our team? Because he's going to be very popular next weekend. And I don't know if there's any rumors about Checo getting that upgrade that he's got. It sounded like the update was track specific. Um, let's see, but I guess we'll find that out over the course of next week. Andy says if Max is that big next week, need RBR as well, possibly, but with the Checo thing, it's kind of tough. If Checo has a good weekend this weekend, if he kind of puts it together and seems to be kind of getting over the hump, like if he has a good qualifying and a good race, I'm not talking about like getting on the podium or anything, just like some positive results, getting back in a better mind space, that is good enough for me to maybe hop on RB. But then that's going to be a lot tougher without the transfers to get to RB and Max if you want to get there. It's also a massive percentage of your budget. Let's get into some questions here. I've missed some here. Let's see. João Pedro says, João Pedro, he's in my FPL team as of right now. Hello, I have Norris, Hulk, Mag, Gasly, and Ocon plus Mercedes and McLaren. Would you change both Alpine for both RB drivers or for Ricardo and Red Bull? So you could go, so you'd be getting rid of McLaren for Red Bull, and you'd be dropping down from someone to Ricardo. Sorry, João Pedro. Let me trying to figure that out. But I think I would change, as of right now, I would change both of the RB drivers. I would bring those guys in for that. The Tamea says, tough ones for me transfer wise regarding the Max conversation we just had. Sahil, at the end of FP3, I think Joe had a hydraulic problem. Any news on that? Haven't heard anything about that. Haven't checked X recently here, Sahil, but I can go browsing, or maybe if the chat can let us know if they've seen anything there. LBJ says, I'm playing my limitless this race. What would you recommend the team to be? Alrighty. Well, my gut would be McLaren and Red Bull, Max, and then the double McLaren, double Mercedes. That would be my kind of gut right now. But if you would like some kind of more expert than me opinion, we could go over here to the F1 Fantasy Tools Sims and see what they say. Recalculate. Let's share this tab instead. Let's see what we can get for you here, LBJ. McLaren, Red Bull, Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Russell, Hamilton. Norris with the 2 times. So there you go. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Let me know how you do in the comments below on one of my videos next week. The Tamea says Piastri, Gasly, McLaren / Merc, or Norris, Joe, McLaren, Ferrari. So tough. Ooh, that is tough. I really don't like the way that Ferrari has come into this weekend. And yeah, I don't know. Piastri, Gasly, McLaren, Merc, or Norris, Joe Guan Yu, McLaren, and Ferrari. If you trust Ferrari, I'd probably go with the Ferrari squad if Joe Guan Yu can just kind of shuttle around the back there. But I do like that Piastri Gasly team, especially if Alpine's going to qualify really far back and have pretty good race pace. I think Gasly's going to be pretty mad about what happened in Silverstone, so I could see him driving kind of like a man possessed this weekend. So, and I like the safety of McLaren and Mercedes. They're just in a little bit better form there to me. Sidjo says, Joe, you should brought Joe Alpinados and grab Bottas and Albon. Yes, I really like Albon this week. I don't think I can get him in my F1 fantasy team, which is unfortunate. I wish I could, but really like him here. Nico says, hi, boss. I have Norris, Sonoda, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Sargent, McLaren, and Red Bull. 3 swaps. I don't know what to do. What are your suggestions? Whew, man, that is tough, Nico. That's a stacked lineup. I really, really like that. I mean, you could go down from Red Bull to Mercedes and then upgrade one of those. So Red Bull to Mercedes. I don't know these prices off the top of my head. Sorry, Nico. Red Bull to Mercedes, that would save you 6.4 million. So that doesn't do you a lot of good in the driver market, unfortunately. I mean, you could go, if you want, you could go Red Bull to Mercedes and Norris to Verstappen. That might be the easiest swap, and then roll another transfer into Spa if you're not feeling too bad about that either. That's kind of 2 swaps there, kind of easy peasy. You'd have to, that way you get the goodness of Norris and Piastri. You don't get drive of the day, but you might get fastest lap. You might get fastest lap out max. That might be a way to kind of build some safety there. Oh wait, Red Bull. Yeah, Red Bull to Mercedes. Yeah, Red Bull to Mercedes. Then you get some of these good assets. This is the limitless lineup right now. The F1 Fantasy Tools is suggesting, guys. So that would maybe be where I would go with your limitless. Nicholas says Sonoda versus Ricardo versus Albon. So my gut says Albon, but the results kind of point me towards the RB drivers there. But I think Williams brought some upgrades to this race, and Albon has been doing pretty nice here. Let's see. He was in FP3 here. He was 7th. And yeah, I've been pretty impressed by his driving this weekend. In practice 2, he was here in 9th. In practice 1, he was further down the grid in 14th. But FP2, 9th, and FP3 here 7th. So maybe we could get a surprise Q3 appearance from Albon today. So my gut says Albon. I don't always trust my gut, to be honest, but I don't think you can go wrong with either option. I think Sonoda, I would rank him Albon, Sonoda, Ricardo for me, which will probably be that wrong. Andy says, if Max is that big next week, need RB as well. I think, I just covered that. Sorry, Andy. João Pedro, why bother? An Albon RB team looks better. I just kind of like Albon. I think he's driving better. The team seems on the up. Yuki or Ricardo or Magnussen. I think Haas is going to struggle here a little bit if we look at this F1 data over here. Race simulation, Haas up here in 7th, but qualifying in 7th as well. But it just almost seems too good to be true. So especially with Magnussen, Hulkenberg is driving a lot better on Sundays than K-Mag, at least for me, from the eye test. So I think I would lean towards, I go Yuki, Ricardo, and Magnussen in that order. Edwin T says, hi, what about McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, Russell, Joe, Hulkenberg? Right. So that is the lineup I'm looking at, Edwin T. So there's nothing wrong with that there. Don't mind that at all. Let's see. Sean says, I think next week is the most important week to save 3 moves. Totally agree. LBJ says, appreciate the help. Yeah, and of course, anytime. Worth going to Norris and Russell with -10. Choice Ferrari or Mercedes with Russ, Sarah, Joe, or Ferrari or Mercedes with Nico, Sonoda, and Gasly. Yeah, this is really tough kind of thinking here because the back of the pack drivers are not going to score that much. You just got to hope they don't DNF, and they are more likely to DNF. So I like the upside of getting in Norris and Russell, but Russell also has to overcome that 10 points that you're going to take the hit for, which I don't love. That's already kind of putting yourself in the hole there. I think this has been a very popular question on Twitter and all the comments this week. So I've kind of been flipping back and forth. But I think the upside of Norris and Russell in that Mercedes, despite it being hot, Mercedes will struggle. But I think I'm right now with 26 minutes to go in before qualifying. I think I am leaning towards getting 2 bottom of the barrel assets. I hate that I'm saying that because most of the week I was saying the opposite thing. But we will see. There's still 25 minutes for me to change my mind again, ZZ, but I appreciate you reaching out. Isidro, 20 more minutes for qualities. Yeah, we're getting down to it here. Gasly versus Sonoda, also tough one. V carb looking pretty good, but Gasly always makes up a lot of positions. Yeah, I think Gasly. I don't think if you have him, you don't need to get rid of him. There's nothing wrong there. Just hope Alpine can get his car on the track. He doesn't need to be taken off or taken on. No worries there. Rask K says, I got 3 transfers in there. We'll have 3 transfers. Will I have 3 transfers if I do in Hungary? Yes. So if you have those 3 transfers, you don't use them all, you'll roll that other one into Spa. So if you only need to use 2, I would definitely keep that there, Rask. That's great job strategizing. Umbrellas out in Hungary. No, Maven. Why are you? Oh my goodness, 26 minutes to go. I guess I'm gonna have to hop on to the old X machine here. Thoughts? Oh, people are tweeting at me on here. They should be joining me, or they should be joining all of us over here on the YouTube and X stream. LBJ, Ocon, Ricardo, Gasly, and Magnussen. Pick 2. Gasly, Ricardo. Duncan, Norris, Hulk, Gasly, Sargent, Joe, McLaren, Red Bull. Love that. Love that lineup. Yeah, because I don't think if you downgrade Red Bull to anyone, you can't get any of those other drivers up to a I guess it depends how much you have in the bank, but I don't think you could go Red Bull to Mercedes and then upgrade one of those guys. So if that is the position that you're in for F1 Fantasy this weekend, yeah, definitely don't mind going double huge constructors there with Norris, Hulk, and Mercedes or Ferrari. I'm leaning Mercedes right now. I'm not ready to get back on the Ferrari bandwagon. I've been hurt before, not ready to get hurt again, like the Michael Scott meme. Let's go over here to the lineup. So here we are. This is what I was looking at for Spa. So I'm going to go back out here. Manage the team. Right now we've got Lando, Pierre, Lance, Joe Guan Yu, Nico Hulkenberg, Mercedes, and McLaren. I don't think this is these 2 down here. Not going to change that much. But like I said, on green flag, yellow flag, red flag, Lance Stroll, he got to go. He's too expensive. He's not even doing anything for me right now. I just used them for budget in Silverstone, and that was where that was at. Andy chiming back in here. I think this might be my first week. I just hold my lineup. Whew. I love it. Norris, Russell, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Albon, McLaren, Mercedes. Can't see a worthwhile change. Yeah, man, I'm agreeing with you there. So, yeah, I don't know. You'd have to have some money in the budget to really upgrade any of those. I'm assuming you would you go up to Lewis if you had that budget, or could you get up to Sainz maybe? Sainz hasn't looked too bad in practice, but we will see. I mean, I don't think I'm ready to trust Ferrari like I was just saying. Isidro says everyone should check their budget and rely on how practice 3 went. There won't be many overtakes and the risk of DNS are equal for everyone. Avoid -10 any chips and Ferrari. Yeah, don't mind that either. I wouldn't totally rely on practice 3 as that's not super representative of how qualifying will go. We could maybe look at yesterday as well. Sebi S says triple McLaren with Russell, Sargent, Albon, and Haas, or Russ out and upgrade Haas to Mercedes. Ooh, man. So you got triple McLaren. So Haas is your current constructor there. Or you can take Russ out and you would go down to like a Hulkenberg kind of thing and then get up to Mercedes. Yeah, I'm still kind of a proponent of the double constructor lineup here. Haas is a good budget building tool if you're really trying to catch up there. But triple McLaren, if you can get triple McLaren and Mercedes in there, yeah, I think you're good to go. I think that's what I would do there. Sebi. Alrighty, so deep breath, everyone. 21 minutes until qualifying. We can still reach out, still let me know what your lineup kind of thoughts and concerns are. Petter over here says, oh, we got a live weather report from one of the most active F1 Fantasy pole position followers there is. Petter is there in Budapest with his son, live from the track. The rain is getting stronger now. Will be an interesting qualifying for sure. Dang. Okay then. Well, thanks for the live weather report, Petter. Thanks for putting all my thoughts into disarray. But Lando's good in the rain. Max is good in the rain. Other good drivers in the rain. Lewis is good. He qualified on pole here last year. Ah, here he is, live in the stream. Thanks, Petter. Can't hear much from the track, but I can tell you that the rain is really going down. Now will be very interesting qualifying. Okay, we're gonna have to go back to this weather tab, guys. We're gonna have to. Let's go here. Where are we? The radar. Let's go to the radar here for Budapest. Okay, Budapest. Zoom in, zoom in. Went to Budapest a couple of years ago. Has anyone else been? I know Petter's been. He's right there right now. And I'm pretty sure the track is kind of. Wait, where did Budapest go? There's Budapest. Yeah, that is a little bit of rain. That's what that means. Rain, green, rain. Woof, man. Well, if it's rainy for qualifying, then Mercedes still in the fight there for pole. I would say they like cooler weather. Seems to operate a little bit better. We saw that it worked out okay a couple of times this year. So yeah, I'm not really bothered about McLaren and Mercedes. I think those are my two favorites. But if you have the budget, get up to Red Bull. I mean, why not? If you're trying to make big swings as we go into summer break, jumping on Red Bull, maybe Perez pulls it out kind of thing. We will see. Jonathan Howells here says stuck to choose three from Gasly, Ocon, Magnussen, Sonoda, and Albon. Okay. I'm going to try and not contradict myself here because I think I've answered this question a couple of times now, which is fine. Very, very happy to do this. Gut is Albon. And then I think it's Albon, Gasly, Sonoda for me. That's where I would go, Jonathan, if you have that many. So does that mean you have three transfers? It might not be worth switching them around too much because then you could have three transfers for Spa. Racing is Epic is in the chat here. Perez will beat you in the gravel on his cool down lap in the rain. Oh, yeah. Flashbacks to Silverstone for real there. That was pretty bad from the Red Bull driver. Where are we at? Okay, let's see. What is the end poll here? I don't even remember what the poll was. Our Red Bull back? Is Max a must for Belgium? 54% of you guys said yes, and 45% of you guys said no when it comes to Max in Belgium. Okay, so the weather looks like it's going to rain. Interesting there. Maybe I'll just hit that up. Looks like rain in Budapest. Some last second. Let's see what else we've got going on here. Any last second? F1 Big Data says George also took pole in the last qualifying session based by rain. Yep. Qualifying coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Blah, blah, blah. Zach F1 here saying, quick showing of what my team will look like this week. Took a -10, however, looks very much like with the practice results. Good luck, everyone. So Zach F1 not able to do a live stream this week, which he usually does. Is always really, really good. So definitely go check his YouTube channel out. But he's going with the double back of the pack kind of thing over here with Logan and Joe Guan Yu. But Alex and George are really, really like that lineup. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, F1 Fantasy HQ is already locked in as well. Wow. Lando Norris, Yuki Tsunoda, Kevin Magnussen, Joe Guan Yu, Nico Hulkenberg, Red Bull Racing. He was talking about Red Bull Racing quite a bit on his X account earlier this week. So very interesting that he has followed through with that and is kind of going with the DNF roulette over here with the four CT drivers, Sonoda, Magnussen, Joe Guan Yu, and Nico Hulkenberg. I'm not sure how many transfers he had actually, but Racing is Epic says, I think Verstappen isn't a must for Spa because Norris will win easily and get driver of the day. I don't think Verstappen will get that many points for overstakes and positions gained, especially with McLaren and Mercedes looking strong. Oh, that's a little bit of a hot take there. Racing is Epic. I think a lot of people are expecting Max to do really well in Spa where he historically kind of crushes at that track, especially if he takes an engine penalty. Owner says, will it rain tomorrow? You know what? Let's go check that out as well. This is a great question. Owner. It's got a 55% chance of rain tomorrow, which, you know, that's great. In it says mostly sunny and warm, isolated showers later in the day. I don't know what AccuWeather considers later in the day, but Grand Prix starting at 3, 4 o'clock is usually where I would consider slightly later in the day as well. Let's see. Alrighty. I guess I should start making my lineups here, guys, right? Let me know. Where are we at? Are you guys feeling good? Feeling bad? Um, how's everyone feeling? Heading 15 minutes until qualifying. It is starting to get a little nervous over here in Germany, where it's still very hot. There's like a bunch of kids just playing in a paddling pool, like outside my window. So they are enjoying it, and I guess they don't have the stress the of F1 fantasy lineups to consider. Marley Celliers, sorry, -10. Joe Sargent, double McLaren. Is it worth the -10? So to get to the double McLaren, you would have to take a -10, and that would put Joe and Sargent in your team. Am I understanding that correctly? Marley, let me know if I got that right. This is my T3 team here that is actually doing quite well in the world. I think it's like top 500. Let's see. What are we gonna do here? So right now I've got Russell, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Sonoda, and Norris. Man, I'm not entirely sure if I need to really make a move here. I think I've only got zero point 0.1 in the bank, so I can't really move anywhere. I could move Gasly down, just roll a transfer. Am I going to burn a transfer? Has anyone burned a transfer in F1 Fantasy so far this year? Just got 2 transfers and then just not used any of them. I think I'm just going to just let this team roll here. The Tamea says, not feeling good about this one. I feel like the wrong midfielder pick can very costly, especially with the rain looming. Yeah, those are the breaks with F1 Fantasy. Welcome to the Thunderdome here, the Tamea. So yeah, good luck. Fingers crossed for everyone who's playing DNF roulette with 3 or 4 CT drivers. That's the thing. If you survive the weekend with 4 CT drivers, and like Adam from F1 Fantasy HQ had, you're golden. It's just, can you survive? We don't know. Sachin says Norris or Max, who's the better 2 times this weekend? It's always Lando for me right now. This driver of the day nonsense is getting out of hand, but it is what it is. We got to play the game. If Lando wins, or even if he like gets on pole and bottles it for second place or ends up in the podium, he's still likely to finish very high up in the driver of the day rankings. Whereas Max would have to like Spa next weekend, maybe if he gets a grid penalty, starts 10th or 15th kind of thing. And like that was like one of the last times Max Verstappen won driver of the day. So especially if McLaren, oh, there goes my soundproofing pillow that nearly fell all the way down there. Yeah, that's kind of just going with the drive of the day. McLaren could easily pull out everything. Lando could get drive of the day and fastest lap and win. I think that's just such a high ceiling that we can't pass up there. So Sachin, I would go with Norris as my 2 times driver of the day, which I am doing in every single one of my lineups here. Caladino7 says that swapping Ferrari with Mercedes no-brainer. Mercedes cheaper. Also is swapping K-Mag with Hulk a no-brainer. Yes, and yes to both, because I love Mercedes this weekend a lot more than Ferrari. At least I trust them compared to the last 3 races. And yeah, Hulk is just having a great time in that Haas. So if anyone can overcome the potential challenges of Haas this weekend, I think it is going to be Hulk compared to Kevin Magnussen. The Tamea says, I burned one early on, was budget building, and it was performing well. Since then, been needing that burnt transfer, though. Yeah, we'll see. Brave last words for me here with my T3 team. So I think I'm going to burn transfer there. Let's go over to the T2 squad here. This one's doing awful. I'm hoping for a mini league at some point in F1 Fantasy here over the last part of the season, so I can maybe just kind of lose it here. Duncan, T2 team, Max, Alonso, Gasly, Joe, Sargent, McLaren, and Mercedes. 0.8 million left only. Alonso down to like Ricardo, and then you can upgrade one of those bottom 2 assets there, Duncan, with Joe or Sargent, I think, because that Aston Martin looks like, yeah, not good tractor out there. So, yeah, Alonso maybe down to one of the other C tier assets, and then upgrade probably Joe, just because. Yeah, I really don't think he's going to go all that well. Owner says who will be getting the highest price increase for CT drivers. Um, let's see. I can go check that out right now. As of right now, F1fantasytools.com and Writer Simulations think that Sonoda is going to be the highest C tier scoring driver. So that would be my best bet for you there. But Hulkenberg's right behind there, as is Gasly. So Sonoda, Hulkenberg, and Gasly, not bad at all there. 10 minutes, guys. Get those lineups in. Marley says, yes, Norris, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Joe, Sargent, Mercedes. Have taken -10. Worth it. Yeah, go for it. Papaya. Team Papaya. Let's go, Marley. I believe in the Papaya this weekend. I don't think they're going to. I was saying in green flag, yellow flag, red flag, which is one of my episodes that I do for F1 Fantasy every week. If you're new here, I was saying that I think Oscar is probably behind the scenes being like, y'all have kind of done me over here for a couple of races. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, I think. You know, like when wide receivers kind of just yell about it in the press, they're not getting enough targets. I'm hoping that Oscar has been doing that behind the scenes here. So FP2 team, or my T2 team, they're thinking McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, Russell, and then they want me to go Joe and Albon. They want me to go down from, because then I can go here. Let's go. So I'd go down from Gasly. Just everyone's lineup's going to be the same. Hopefully Russell doesn't cause some panic this weekend with another DNF. So yeah, we can do that. That's fine. McLaren, Mercedes, y'all better come through this weekend when it comes to F1 Fantasy. And yeah, now it's time for the T1 team. I'm starting to get down to it myself here. Let's see. Arjun Kale says Red Bull and Logan, or Mercedes and Yuki. Oof. Mercedes and Yuki for me. Arjun, I think the RB, or the Visa Cash App RB, has looked pretty good this weekend. And I'm trying to get away from Logan, but I will not be able to because my budget is really bad. How is everyone else's budget doing? There are 346 people watching this right now. I would love, just click that like button. And if you want all the F1 Fantasy content that's going to continue coming out this channel for the Belgian Grand Prix, and there's going to be some stuff coming out of the summer break, some like mid-season awards, that kind of stuff, and then full steam ahead for the back half of the 2024 F1 Fantasy season. NK says, hi, backbencher Qs. Bottas to Joe, Gasly or Ocon to K-Mag already have Hulk. Do both of these moves. I don't think Bottas to Joe is worth the transfer there unless you need it for budget. And then Gasly or Ocon to K-Mag already have Hulk. Do both of these moves. I think I'd rather honestly go like Gasly, or I'd rather go like Ocon to Ricardo. Can you get there? Or Ocon to Sonoda. That would be my preferred move there. NK, if you can get there in your budgets off the top of my head. Byron Rhoda says RB / McLaren or McLaren / Mercedes. If it gets you up to like a Russell and instead of a Magnussen, then I would go McLaren and Mercedes. Kevin says, hi, mate. What are your final moves? I'm going through them right now. Let's find out. So right now, F1 Fantasy Tools is saying that my lineup of Lando, Pierre, Lance Stroll, Joe Guanyu, Nico Hulkenberg, Mercedes, and McLaren is not going to get it done. And they are suggesting that I go with the back of the pack here, grabbing two bottom of the barrel assets and just hoping that they can kind of make it around the track. There's another option here where, I mean, I can just share you this tab with you. This is another option I like. I'm really torn just between this one here, which is all right, and then this one, where I get out of the bottom of the barrel business altogether. And no Sargent, no Joe Guanyu. I got two Haas guys, Sonoda and Gasly, which those are all good assets. It'd be Russell, Sargent, and Joe versus Sonoda, Gasly, and Magnussen, which is tough. Can't really. I mean, the upside of Russell here is 23.1 points that he's expected to get. And then Gasly, Sonoda, that's 11.3. And Sargent, it's like not even close. But Sargent and Joe, I'm just going to cross. Am I going to play DNF roulette this week? Gasly's out. Stroll's out. Russell burned me last time. When was that? When did Russell? That was in Canada when we all believed in George Russell, huh? But I mean, was it Canada? Yeah, maybe it was. But yeah, he's gone down 0.5 million. I think he could easily shoot back up 0.5 million. So yeah, we're gonna let the chips fall where they may here, guys. I am going to lock this in with Lando George, Logan, Joe Guanyu, Nico Hulkenberg, Mercedes, and McLaren. Feels like a good opportunity to kind of get on Mercedes. They've been on a great run of form. I believe that they've solved a lot of their issues. So here we go. Lance, goodbye. Oh, I can't believe I'm bringing Logan Sargent into my squad. That is just absolutely ridiculous. But here we are. Wish me luck, guys. Oh, I should probably just share this tab. Here we are. Here's my final changes. There are 4 minutes to go. I hope you all have your F1 fantasy lineups locked. I am doing this. There we go. Let's take a little picture here. How did this happen? How did we get here with Logan Sargent and Joe Guanyu in my lineup again? But yeah, let me know. Any last? Are we all set? Okay, here we go. NK says, thanks. Follow up preference between Ricardo or Sonoda. Really tough. I like Sonoda better, but there is a world where Ricardo just ends up in that Red Bull over the summer break. So it might be kind of nice to have him already rather than bringing him in. So if you're going long term, I'd maybe just go Ricardo because I don't think there's a huge difference. But Sonoda for the next couple of weeks, I think, because he's actually a better driver for me. And that's where I would go there. Man, what are we doing here? Boom, boom. Squad locked for Hungarian Grand Prix in F1 Fantasy. Going a little bit template here, which I don't love, but you know, we'll write it out. Cheers, LOL, cheers, good luck. Yes, you too, guys. Hopefully there are no DNFs and we all score a bunch of points. That would be spectacular. We're 3 minutes away, which I guess means I will need to set up my where are we at? Oh, I got a notification saying, okay, there we are. Those were the simulations there. Mike F has triple McLaren in there. So he's going all in on the papaya, which I love. So, but yeah, shall we just peruse some Twitter here? You already know what time it is. Qualifying, time for quali, heading out for quali, in position for the session to get going. Yeah, it's going to be a good race. Yep, the rain has just arrived. That should, yeah, I don't think it's going to work out for us there, guys. But yeah, it's been a great hour. Thank you for tuning in and watching the Deadline live stream. Hopefully there's been some good questions. Appreciate it. All the likes and subscribes. Hopefully I'll be back with 4 episodes next week. Let me know how you guys do in Hungary as well. And it will be a ton of fun. Hopefully we get a bunch of high scoring points, although 4-0-1 for Logan. Y'all just do your own race over here, okay? Logan and Joe, you guys will be all right. Oh, nice. Yes, as a guy with a name Ewan Leith, I do try to pronounce everyone's names a lot better. That's yeah, you are welcome, Daniel. I'm glad that I didn't butcher it, as I was quite worried when that name popped up on the screen. So I was happy to do that. But we are down to it, guys. This is it. So hopefully this has gone well. I wish you good luck in Hungary. Enjoy qualifying. Enjoy the race. I will be back on Monday morning with a pre-recorded video with a Hungarian Grand Prix review. Early team selection on Tuesday, green flag, yellow flag, red flag on Wednesday, and then race preview with final team thoughts on Thursday. back to back to back to back. We got a double header here, so there's going to be tons of F1 fantasy content. But hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Let me know if it was your first time kind of watching the content. Appreciate any comments, feedback. But yeah, we are locked in now. It is 4 o'clock. You are good to go. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday after qualifying. May your arrows be green and your F1 fantasy points be plentiful. But once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I will talk to you next time.